Please join me in welcoming our longtime Pathways Guide, Kristin Nickells.
Thank you so much, Virginia, and my Toastmaster colleagues. Back when COVID hit and we all went online, somewhere around about that time, I was still working on my Distinguished Toastmaster, my second one, and for one of the tasks that we have to fulfill for Distinguished Toastmasters to do a very special project, a Distinguished Toastmaster DTM project. And so right around that time was when clubs were starting to really struggle, and we were losing members. They were dropping like flies, and people were struggling with the technology, etc. And I was able to take a tool that Toastmasters International has provided for us for decades and decades. It's called Moment of Truth, or Moments of Truth. And who has heard of Moments of Truth? Most of you. Okay. What Moments of Truth is a survey that clubs can do, that they ask their members to complete, and it enables them to collate some idea of where they are doing things well, where they might be falling down, how to build strategies in various parts of keeping a Toastmaster club thriving, like your membership and your celebrations and all of those things. And so I've done the Moments of Truth Jeopardy, or the Moments of Truth survey in various clubs numerous times. And I have to say that, bless their hearts, it really hasn't changed in a very long time. And it starts to get a little bit repetitive and a little bit old. So I was just trying to jazz it up. Not only jazz up Moments of Truth survey, but to build in some of the online challenges and the technical challenges that we were all having to face and having to surmount in order to keep our clubs thriving. So I took the best of the Moments of Truth survey as is. I kept its structure intact. From an integrity standpoint, it is Moments of Truth, just as Toastmasters International provides for it, but I think that I just made it funner and better. So that was my plan, to create a Moments of Truth Jeopardy game so that clubs could not only use the Moments of Truth tool to their best advantage, but also, rather than just do it once in a year, or as some clubs do, once every 3 years or 5 years or whatever, to be able to use this tool on an ongoing basis. And I recommended that once a month, clubs pull up the Moments of Truth Jeopardy game board and have maybe 20 minutes or 15 minutes even, to just ask one question or two questions. And that way, the whole idea of improvement and feedback and self-reflection and self-examination becomes dynamic. It becomes a tool that we use over and over and over again on an ongoing basis, rather than once and done. So that was the genesis of Moments of Truth Jeopardy. And the number one objective was to have fun doing it. So in order to show you Moments of Truth Jeopardy, we're actually going to play Moments of Truth Jeopardy. And so what I want you to be doing is just thinking about your own clubs when we'll ask a couple of questions just so that you can get the gist of it. Virginia's going to pop up a PowerPoint on the screen. And just so that everybody knows, the PowerPoint file and the little tracker that comes with it in a PDF form is going to be available to every single club, free of charge. I don't really even care if you tell anybody who invented it or who put it together, etc. But I would like to make it available to all clubs to use on an ongoing basis. So go ahead and switch to the next slide, Virginia. As I said, I think that what's really important with Moments of Truth and Moments of Truth Jeopardy and the tool that is provided to us is that we use it to our best advantage, and we use it so that we begin the conversation of talking about how we're doing things in the club. What can we do better? How can we do it better? What's our plan for doing it better? And how are we going to keep ourselves accountable? As most of you know, I'm an executive coach, and so the way that I took the Jeopardy or the Moments of Truth structure and formed the questions come straight from a coaching point of view. The questions are designed for self-reflection. They're designed for introspection. They're designed to take a really good, hard look at ourselves in the mirror and decide how we're going to do things better. So it's just a conversation starter, but we can't fix things unless we start that conversation. And so often we don't have that conversation. We're like those three monkeys. Virginia, you can flip the slide now. You all know these monkeys. Maybe you are one of these monkeys. Oftentimes in a club, particularly when we're starting to struggle, it's hard. It's hard to ask those really tough questions of ourselves. Sometimes we just want to show up for our meetings and go home, and we don't want to have to be part of the solution to making our clubs thrive. So let's go ahead. Virginia, you can go to the next one now. Today we're going to learn about the what, why, where, when, and how for our clubs. We're going to try and come up with some tangible, concrete plans. And in doing so, we're going to learn how to play Moments of Truth Jeopardy. Keep in mind that although the real game of Jeopardy demands that you ask a question, they show the answer and you ask a question, that wasn't going to work for this. So we don't have to answer our questions with questions, if that makes sense. Okay, so go ahead, go to the next one. I will actually be facilitating this one. When you're going to be using this in your own club, and hopefully you are, you're going to be choosing one person to facilitate this. Virginia asked me if this would work for in-person clubs, and as long as you've got a PowerPoint projector and a screen, yes, the answer is yes. All you have to have is a laptop with the PowerPoint file on it in order to be able to play this. And I have created a tracking sheet, and I'll explain the reason why I've created a paper sheet to track your answers a little bit later in the presentation here. But that will also be available to you along with the PowerPoint file. I believe, Virginia, you're going to try and get this up on the district website. So both of them will be on the district website. And I think Virginia was going to put the tracker sheet in the chat box just so that everybody's got it. But it's not a handout. It's just a way to track the conversations that you're going to be having. Okay, carry on. Next slide. And yeah, just go ahead and click them and they should all come up. Yep. Okay, so these are the 5 categories of club health that come straight from World Headquarters, straight from Toastmasters International. They're asking us in the Moments of Truth survey to think about what our club looks like, feels like, tastes like, and sounds like to a brand new person walking over the threshold of our door. They want to know, they want us to think about how we launch our new members, how we get them from signing that membership application to where they are right engaged in the meeting roles and the meeting itself, maybe even the executive, certainly the education program. What are we doing to enable that? How are we providing organization for our meetings? How organized and prepared are we? What are we doing for the social aspect of Toastmasters? How are we engaging each other and getting to know each other? What is our membership strength? How are we building members? Are we retaining members? Are we bringing new members in? Are guests being converted to members? How quickly are they being converted to members? And are those members staying with us? And then lastly, how are we recognizing the achievements of our members and how are we celebrating those achievements? So the game of Jeopardy conveniently has 6 categories, and the Moments of Truth survey from Toastmasters International has 6 categories, and so it was a no-brainer. There we go. Okay, so you can see that this looks very, very similar to what you would normally see when you turned on the TV and you were watching the game of Jeopardy. So we have our 6 main categories, and it's again to keep the integrity of the Moments of Truth survey. And we have questions inside of each of the monetary boxes. There's no money changing hands in this game, just so you know, and there are no big prizes at the end, except the big prize, of course, is that if you answer all the questions and you go through the entire game board over the course of a year or a month or however long you want to do this, you will find that you can't help but have a healthier Toastmasters club. So I would like a volunteer to choose a category and a dollar value, and you'll see how this works. Could I have a volunteer? Maggie, awesome.
Okay. First impressions, $300.
Okay, so Virginia, if you click on that, you'll see that what happens is once you've clicked on that square, you will come up, the PowerPoint comes up, takes you right to a field where it asks a couple of questions. And I think that you can pick and choose these questions. You don't have to answer every one of them. Some of them have 3 or 4 questions on them. Pick the one that you feel is the most relevant, that you want to have a conversation about now. And you'll find that some of the questions pertain to the online Zoom experience for clubs that are either hybrid or completely online. And so Maggie, if you think about your 60 Minutes Club, I think you're meeting in person again. And
no, we're totally online.
You're totally online. Yeah. Okay, so
hybrid. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about 60 Minutes. Tell us about how your members get your agenda and how you think that how you're doing it now and how could it be better?
Okay. Whoever is the Toastmaster for the week usually gets the agenda out the Sunday, Monday, maybe the Tuesday before the meeting, which is on Thursday at noon. And I know myself, I'm sometimes, under the gun and, late pulling it together. And, sometimes it's even on Wednesday. So, but we aim for getting it out on the weekend so people have time to think about it and think about the theme for the day and the word of the day and prepare their table topics, questions, and all of that kind of thing. We don't send it out to guests until we have somebody saying they're going to be coming, and then I'll send it out, or whoever has done the inviting will send it out. So does that answer your question?
Well, it's not my question. It's for you. So if you were a brand new member or a guest, do you feel that there's enough time to prepare for the role, that I'm going to know with enough time how to participate or how to engage fully in the meeting via the agenda?
I think so. I think everybody who receives the agenda has the Zoom link right on there, or sometimes I just if it's done over text or whatever, I'm just sending out the Zoom link ahead of time and giving them the details for when everything starts and ends. So yeah, I think the information is readily available.
Okay. And what would you do differently with your agenda if you could?
I don't know. People seem quite impressed that we have such a detailed agenda with even the number of minutes, just at 12:34, this is going to happen, so I don't know. I think it's pretty good. It's got everything on there, plus our online scheduling link to a Google Sheet that if you want to sign up for a role, you can click on that from the agenda and
that's great.
Enter your name. Okay.
Well, that's great. That's awesome. Okay, so Virginia took us, you noticed that there was a key on the slide that took you back to the main board. And you'll see now that First Impressions 300 is showing as asked already. And so that's where the tracker sheet comes in, so that you can record that on May the 15th, Maggie Komar answered First Impressions 300. And you can even make more detailed notes if you had a plan for making your agenda better. If you felt that it was too detailed, or the printing was too small, or it wasn't getting out in enough time, or it wasn't available to every member, etc., you could create a plan around how you were going to improve your agenda, and then you would record that on your tracking sheet. The reason that we have the sheet is that as soon as you close this PowerPoint, it defaults back to filling the whole screen. So unfortunately, it's one little glitch in the PowerPoint that I don't think that there's a fix for that I know of, unless you save it as a different file. And so it will default back to a completely filled or unanswered board again. So what I used to do is I had a tracking sheet. I would make note of who had answered what. And the next time we pulled up Moments of Truth Jeopardy PowerPoint, I would just go and click on the boxes that had already been answered, so that we could really be able to see how we were emptying the board. So we're coming to 20 after 8. I think we've got time for one more. Let's have one more volunteer ask a question. I can't see the whole gallery, unfortunately, so there, now I can. Okay, one more volunteer. Heather, go ahead.
I will do member strength for $100.
Okay. All right. So, how many members does your club have? And if less than 20, what value do you see in having that many members? Or if 20 or more, what are you doing to encourage maintaining your current numbers?
Well, I picked that because our Nelson Fresh Tracks Club is in threat of suspension. So we're at 6 members right now.
Okay.
And so I clearly understand the value being, of course, that we're double dutying or we're not doing certain roles, and then we're all full up and we don't have the energy to do speech. Well, we are still all doing one speech, but the room looks empty for a guest coming in. It's like, is this actually an organization? So that answers my question. It's kind of 100, like the strength of the question being 100. I don't quite understand, like, do they get harder, the questions, as you go for a higher dollar value?
Relatively. It's really just, it really is just a way to say this is question number 1 versus question number 2 versus 3 versus 4 versus 5. So it's just set up to look like the TV Jeopardy board. The questions in the $500 or $600 category are a little bit more complex, but generally it's just a progression, a very small progression from 1 to 6. Okay. So if you were to devise a plan right now to gain more members, you need 2 more. What is your strategy? What is your club talking about doing?
Well, from a PR perspective, we are having a meeting with an organization that is coming to our club on Thursday, and they are English as a second language educational organization. And so we want to show them the value of practicing their English and hope that we may get a few members joining from this visit. And if not that visit, we'd like to invite them back. And the other part of our plan is that I'm sending, as the VP Ed, I'm sending out a poster to the previous educational organization, a teachers organization that we used to actually be located in.
Oh, good.
And they've agreed to put our poster up for their teacher students.
Oh, that's
so
great.
We've been doing the FaceTime and all that type of PR, and it just hasn't brought anybody. So we're trying to bring people in with a new approach.
For the organization that you're approaching, have you thought of the prospect of maybe doing the name of it has just left me. Karen, what's the name of the it's a 6-week program?
Speechcraft?
Thank you. Thank you. Doing a Speechcraft and offering them a free 6-week Speechcraft program, or offering it for a small fee, and then taking that fee off their membership if after the Speechcraft they join the club. So you've got until the end of September to do this. So you've got lots of time to do a Speechcraft. And if you're just going and offering to this organization that they might want to improve their English by coming to a Toastmasters club, what instead you could do is offer them a tangible 4 or 6 week learning program so they get a taste of Toastmasters, and giving them their money back if they join the club at the regular rate. You know,
so thank you. I appreciate your suggestion. And I have brought that forward as also the club president. But the current person, like the current membership is 2, like we've got one member that's going away traveling for 6 months. That leaves us with 2 members in the room and 4 on the screen. And some of those can't make it to every meeting. So they don't feel they have the energy to commit 6 weeks to having a consistent number of members involved.
Okay.
And,
one person can do a Speechcraft. It doesn't have to be a lot. One person can do a Speechcraft, and you could do it as a standalone online only experience. So you could make it completely online if you wanted to.
Oh,
And you can also do just 4 weeks too.
You can do a 4-week version of it. Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
What would be the advantage of that over, do you think it would be just sort of too pushy to just say, come join us? I think I see where you're going with this.
You're offering them something really tangible. You're making an offering rather than, it's a little more, I would say it's more active rather than passive.
Okay.
Yeah. And certainly you could also incorporate the speechcraft into your meetings if you really wanted to. I know clubs that have done that. What's the other one in Comox? The Comox Toastmasters, I think. They used to do that all the time. Yeah. Anyway, just an idea. You get the idea from this Moments of Truth Jeopardy that what we're doing is looking in the mirror. We're peeling away the onion skin and we're thinking about what are we actually doing. We've got X number of months. We've essentially got the summer to get two more members or we're really in trouble. So what are we going to be doing that is, pretty major? Anyway, we can stop the PowerPoint now, Virginia. Thank you. I know that our time is out and I'd hoped that we were going to have some time for some questions, but clearly we didn't. But you can see how with the Moments of Truth Jeopardy, how it begins the conversation. It initiates that self-reflection that is so important for us as clubs. When we track it and we come up with plans, it forces us to move forward.